Russian olives dappled silver with September moonlight. Almost silent. Tree crickets and a distant dog. I look up at the starry night and think about all of the birds I can't hear. Are they up there tonight, flying? Migration, vast and shifting, I'll never really comprehend it. But there are glimpses. The fall flocks, 3,600 common grackles streaming past in waves, flooding the cottonwoods. An out-of-tune orchestra belting out at full volume. Squadrons of grackles, heads bronzed in the morning light. 15 minutes later, they're gone. The birds of summer, suddenly gone without warning. Back to the Haemorhous River, the place of no black-billed cuckoos this year. Where did the 45 northern house wrens of July go? A cedar waxwing flock trills from bare evening branches, descending to feed among orange-tinged chokecherry leaves. Otherwise, quiet, like a deserted town. The brown thrashers, the mountain bluebirds, the violet-green swallows feeding young. Gone. The bank swallow colony, silent, too late for goodbyes. But wait now. Quietly, intently, watch the chokecherries. Tune your eyes to the silent flit of a foraging warbler. Strain your ears for chips and seeps. The chokecherries are alive with birds from the north. White-throated sparrows and Lincoln sparrows, yellow-rumped warblers and Wilson's warblers, and a different sharp call, a quick movement, a glimpse of something interesting. There it is again, gray and bright yellow in a different pattern. A mourning warbler, a bird which nests in shrubby areas in the boreal forest. The first time I've ever seen one. Hi, and welcome to Wild with Nature. I'm Shane Sater. This story is called Fall Migration, and I share it here in October 2025. If you'd like to read the written version, illustrated with my photos from the field, as you listen, you can find it on my website, wildwithnature.com. And now let's continue with the story. Sometimes there's nothing. Plains cottonwood leaves flutter their final goodbyes to summer, and I wonder where the migratory flocks are. And then there are times when a weedy riverbank comes alive with sparrows. Seeps and chips among the tumble mustards and cockleburs. A cold dawn, and an eastern screech-owl whinnies from the cottonwoods. A neglected field of brush piles and Canada thistledown bursts with sparrows, hundreds of them, slender chipping and clay-colored sparrows, bulky white-throated and white-crowned sparrows, the metallic tink call of a swamp sparrow. Migrating birds don't always fly south. This fall, I study range maps. Learn the birds of the boreal forest that nest due north of my state, but whose migrations curve east through the Great Plains. I've never seen them in Helena. But out here, in the shelter belts, town parks, and green ash draws on the eastern Montana plains, with luck, you might find them. Mourning warblers, Cape May warblers, and purple finches. Philadelphia vireos, purple martins, and ruby-throated hummingbirds. Specks of feathers and fast-beating hearts on a journey I'll never really comprehend. One morning, watching these chokecherries and weeds and brush piles overflow with southbound birds is all it takes for me to fall in love again and again with chokecherries, weed patches, cottonwood leaves fluttering goodbye, and screech-owls singing in the cold September dawn. Thanks for listening. This story, and every monthly episode I've published for Wild with Nature, has been possible thanks to the support of listeners like you. Looking ahead, I've decided to take a break for a while. Doing Wild with Nature every month has been a lot of work, more than you might guess. Field observations and sound recording, getting the inspiration for a story, writing, editing, reading through papers, doing interviews, translation, podcast recording, a day or two of podcast editing each month, publicity, website maintenance. The pay, thanks to your Patreon support, has been enough to cover most expenses, but not enough for this project to really pencil out financially. Of course, that's not really the point for me. The point is sharing a love of nature, and the reward has been the conversations and collaborations, the new friendships, learning about all sorts of things from spiders to voles to black-billed cuckoos, and knowing that many of you have believed in this project enough to drop me a note, share the podcast, or even support my work through Patreon. Huge thank you to all of you. I do plan to resume monthly podcasts at some point, though I'm not quite sure when. I have lots of material and ideas in the works. Getting to know beetles, what to do about bird collisions with windows, and a series on the birds of Mexico and recognizing their sounds. But for now, I need a break. If you're one of my Patreon supporters, I'm putting a pause to your monthly charges until I resume podcast production. Thanks so much for your continued support. Knowing that you believe in this project means a lot to me, and having some predictable monthly income to pay my production costs is huge. If you aren't a Patreon supporter but would like to look into becoming one, you can still do that through my website, wildwithnature.com. Until next time, whenever that is, get outside. And while you're out there, keep your eyes and ears open for signs of fall migration, or whatever this season in nature may bring.